Like everything that uses the brain or body, vertical jump is greatly affected by what we eat. Neglect your nutrition and you can expect no gains. From preparation to performance and ending with recovery, let's look at the do's and don'ts of nutrition when it comes to jump training. My name is Ryan Cowdrey, and this is my journey to the Windmill dunk.
I spent the weekend at a bachelor party, which meant I ate too much and drank too much and didn't move enough. And while I didn't overdo it per se, today, getting back into jump training, I definitely felt heavier and more lethargic. And this made me realize the importance of nutrition in my jump training and made me want to dial it in. So I did some research, and this is really what I found.
So what happens to our vertical jump with improper nutrition? First, we can expect to have slower results. Our bodies are going to recover less and therefore be sore more often. And because we're not recovering properly, we have an increased risk of injuries. And overall, with improper nutrition, we're gonna feel more lethargic and lazy, which is gonna work against our passion for the path of progress. So these are some of the foods we should avoid for increasing our vertical jump. Refined sugars and fried foods are gonna increase our inflammation. So snacks, sweets, and prepackaged foods are out the door. We're also going to avoid alcohol at all costs because alcohol induces insulin resistance, which limits the uptake of carbs and protein in the muscles. In other words, your muscles won't grow if you're drinking alcohol. And lastly, the lack of water intake is a huge thing to avoid. We want to be drinking plenty of water to make sure we're flushing any of those toxins, the lactic acid, and everything that needs to be flushed out of our body for us to continue to grow our cells. So now let's look at the foods we want to eat in order to increase our vertical jump. Ultimately, this comes back to general good nutrition practices, but let's get a little bit more specific and break these out into three categories, from the preparation phase to the performance and then finally recovery. So within the preparation, we want to make sure we have all the necessary vitamins and minerals. This is the foundation of all human functions, from joint health to inflammation reduction. And for that, we want to make sure that we are eating our daily multivitamin and getting our omega-3 fish oils in. When it comes to joint health, I want to be sure that I'm taking care of my joints because I'm jumping so much, and my knees and my ankles and my hips are taking a lot more beating. And that's where I am drinking a lot of bone broth to introduce more collagen and give it a little bit extra cushion to the joints. Antioxidants are also super important for reducing inflammation. We can turn to foods like blueberries, cranberries, and other berries, Granny Smith apples and gala apples, artichokes and prunes. Even black beans, kidney beans, and pinto beans are all high in antioxidants. Reducing inflammation is so important, and that's why I'm looking at other foods such as fish and salmon and trout, cruciferous veggies like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and kale, turmeric and ginger, as well as green tea. All of these are great for reducing inflammation and basically making sure that my cells are running efficiently without a bunch of unneeded waste in them. Now let's look at nutrition for performance purposes. And the goal here is to ensure that we have enough clean energy to perform at our peak when we are training or actually performing. And for this, I'm focusing on whole foods throughout the day. I'm avoiding all of the aforementioned fried foods and processed foods, and essentially just shopping on the outer part of the grocery store. Remember, if you go down the aisles, then that's where the processed foods are with all the preservatives, but if you shop on the outside, those are natural foods. I found this study called The Simple Diet Change found to help athletes jump higher and sprint faster. The results essentially find that the key to jumping higher is actually just losing a little bit of that extra fat that we have on our body. The study found that participants' vertical jump improved by 7% over 8.5 weeks by reducing their calorie intake by 470 kilocalories per day. And that amounts to about a 2-inch improvement on somebody with a 30-inch vertical. So literally just getting rid of some of that unnecessary fat weighing us down can be enough to increase our vertical. And lastly, let's look at nutrition for recovery in jump training. And this comes down to eating the right things to lock in our hard work, heal our muscles, and ready ourselves for the next day. Now, what foods are important for recovery? It can all come back to protein. Protein is the building blocks of our muscles, and therefore we want to make sure we're getting enough protein in to grow our muscle cells after our workouts. I'm introducing a lot of protein shakes into my diet because they're just efficient. A lot of them come with creatine and branched chain amino acids and protein all in one, so you really are getting many of the things needed to build muscle mass all within a convenient shake. There's so much great information out there for post-workout meals. Do a quick Google search and find what you like. I personally love turning to Greek yogurt and berries, tuna salad sandwiches, cottage cheese, pita and hummus. Truly, the list goes on and on. If you know of any superfoods that I overlooked, please, by all means, drop it in a comment below so that we can learn from each other. In closing, nutrition is a cornerstone of any training program. And furthermore, proper nutrition doesn't have to be all that hard if you plan ahead. And remember, one meal doesn't ruin a day unless you let it. If you eat something bad, then don't assume the whole day is done and continue the bad habits. Every meal is a choice, so let's start putting the right things on our plate.